We've got a special guest today.
Hello, Brandon.
Brother Bobby!
Here we are.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's good. What are we doing today then?
Well, you have hijacked my day a little bit, haven't you?
I am.
We're at Puddledock Farm, which is a beautiful fishery just deep in Essex.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some paste fishing / paste float testing. And we've got a few other bits to test as well, to be honest. So it should be a good, interesting day, hopefully.
Yeah. Get a little bit of an insight as what goes into testing of our products.
Exactly, yeah. This is the kind of thing we do a lot of, like myself, Rooney, Ringer, all the boys, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to put the stuff through its paces because you don't know how it's going to perform over a period of time. So days like today are really good. You know, there's loads and loads of fish in here, so I'm sure they'll get a good testing.
Go on, Bobs, talk us through mixing up your lovely paste for today.
Well, the most important thing, Brandon, when you get to your peg, you've got to prepare your bait because it does take a little bit of time, just like your ground bait, for all the particles to absorb. So, interestingly today, like I said, we're doing some testing. Love this stuff, used it for a long time now. But best thing about Kev at Mainline and all the Mainline gang, they're always trying to improve their products. So we've just got this to test today, slightly different mix. I don't know what it's going to be like, so I'm going to go with like sort of a 2 to 1 sort of ratio of mixing first. So I'm just going to get pint bait box. Always really important to measure your bits out because at least then you've got some kind of reference point. So I'm just going to put in, what would you say, about, looking at about half a pint, would you say?
Yeah, it'll be in there.
Yeah, there's loads of nice particles in there. And I always like to use one of these 210s with a folding lid. So really important, keep your paste out of the, it's not that sunny today, is it?
No, it's not very
but
sunny.
if the sun does come out, it'll protect it, and the wind just protects it from drying out. So I'm going to put, say, half a pint of the paste mix in there, loads of nice bits and bobs in there, very fish meal smelling.
Bits and bobs?
Bits and bobs, just like me.
Just like you.
Yeah, so really nice that.
Looks lovely.
And we're going to put, I'd say, just a little bit less than half a pint in. Let's say, that's probably about a quarter of a pint, would you say?
Yeah, it got to be.
So yeah, let's go with that.
So 2 pints of 2 parts ground bait, 1 part.
Exactly that, yeah. I think that's
water.
a nice starting point. Going by the last mixture, this should be semi-similar, to be honest. And you can see it does look like it's ruined, but I promise you, in true Blue Peter fashion, we'll come back to that in, I don't know, what should we say, 20 minutes time?
Got to be in
We'll
there.
set up, like my pole's just there all laid out, and we've got nothing set up, so let's come back to that.
It's already firming up a little bit already, isn't it, to be fair, when you're running your fingers through it.
It does go off really quick, and that just proves how good the ingredients are. You know, they're going to absorb all that water, and it's going to be the perfect paste with a bit of luck.
And we're back, almost like we didn't leave.
I know, yeah, but it has passed, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, got to have been, yeah.
Got to have been. We haven't cheated either, have we? We haven't really had a look at this, Brandon, so...
No, see some finger holes, though.
Yeah, was that you?
It might have been
It
me.
wasn't Brandon. So we're going to have a look. Really important, have some water with you, because paste is notorious at sticking to your hands. So just dip your hands in some water, and we're just going to have a little look, and...
What's your assessment?
I think that's actually really nice. To be honest, I would probably like it a little bit drier than that. That is very soft. Just give yourself a few more options. So you look now, that's probably how I'd like it on the hook. Very, very soft.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, I would probably change that ratio a little bit and maybe a little bit more ground bait to water in future, Brandon. But for putting on the hook right now, I'd be very happy with that, to be honest.
Looks lovely to me.
Great, doesn't it?
Fantastic.
Shall we have a go?
Let's have a go.
Come on.
Plumbing up, Bobs.
Yes, Brandon.
What are we doing in there?
Well, really just like any other rig, really, plumbing up, but with a few key differences. So using a big plummet, like I pretty much always like to do.
Yeah.
Nice big plummet, gives you a good idea what's going on the bottom exactly.
Is that a 30 grammer, is it?
30 gram inline guru plummet, yeah, that's it.
Lovely.
And we've had a little feel around, and it's a typical canalised sort of lake, really. It's, you know, shallow close in, gets gradually deeper. Probably the deepest part of the peg, maybe on a top kit or so out in front.
Yeah.
Then get shallower again out in front. And I was thinking we'd probably fish 11 metres or so today. But after plumbing up, it shows that the deepest water is actually about sort of 8 metres out.
Yeah.
Which is a really good starting point in my opinion. Like you start in the deepest water and you can work your way from there. The thing about pace fishing is you can often have lots of spots going during the day. Like not that you're necessarily going to feed lots of spots, but you end up chopping and changing, starting new areas of your peg and stuff. So shall we have a look?
Let's have a look.
Go on, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
So pick a nice far bank marker as always.
Yeah.
And the biggest key difference with pace fishing, Brandon, I don't know about you, but I like sort of, if I'm plumbing up, have you got the float there?
Let's zoom in.
I like the bottom to around there. If I'm holding it there, that's not actually on the bottom. I usually plumb up to say the bottom of the body of my float. Whereas with pace fishing, if I let that settle, you notice it's sort of, you know, on the bristle of the float, if you like. So This is a 0.5 float. I know it seems heavy for, God, that's only probably 3 foot of water there.
Yeah, it's very shallow, isn't it?
3.5 foot maybe. But I like quite a stable rig, especially when I'm fishing pace. Most of my fishing I like a stable rig, but especially with pace fishing, because you're fishing so direct, it's nice to see exactly what's going on with your rig all the time. So I'm plumbing up to sort of, I would say, 3/4 of the bristle showing, you see that? So the idea is, I've got a little olivet. Can we just have a quick look at the rig?
Whiz it in.
I've got an olivet that slides up and down the line, like that, which sort of prevents any tangles or anything like that, and a little stop to stop it.
Oh,
but that 0.5 olivet, you see him there? He's tiny, tiny little 0.5 olivet.
Little weenie, isn't it?
That will shot the float to sort of here. You can see all these markings on the float, that's a sample float. That will shot the float to around here, and I'm looking to plumb up to around here.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Important to realise with pace fishing, you know, the fish do like, especially when you're fishing in silt, they do dig around the bottom a little bit, and you'll have to adjust your float a little bit during the day, but as long as you don't mind doing a bit of that, it can be very rewarding, obviously.
First fish of the day, Bobs.
I know, you know, it's my first pace fish of the year, actually,
You're kidding
Brandon.
me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, as you can see, the goose pimples on my arm, it's not exactly the warmest, but yeah, we've got one. Yeah, he's a small Puddledock Carp.
Very angry.
Yeah, he's angry. They fight. Ask anyone who fishes here often. They fight harder than any fish you're probably likely to see anywhere else. So, yep, number 1 down.
There we are. Number one of the year for Bobs.
Little, I don't know. Is he fully scaled?
Yeah,
Fully scaled common carp.
He's a commoner.
Yeah. Let's put him back, shall we? Ooh.
Yeah, let's put him back. How was he hooked in like the scissors?
Yeah, a little mouth on him, but I think that's just where they feed in the silt a lot. They go like that. Lovely fish though.
Very nice fish, Bobs.
Shall we get him back?
A baby carp.
Baby carp.
Pretty.
Isn't he nice?
Very nice. Go on then, shall we let's have a look at see how you put this paste on the hook.
Go on then, Brandon.
After that pretty little
Shall we do the whole thing?
Yes, do the whole thing, the whole shebang.
Come on. I'll just move my stop down that one.
I'm gonna push this pole again.
You break my pole, Brandon, you're going to be in trouble.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay.
Go on, show us how you hook this paste then.
Size 12 Kaizen,
Yeah.
which sounds like a big hook, but relatively speaking, when you think about the size of the hook bait, it's not that big. So I like to wet my hands first.
Yeah.
Then get a bit of your paste. Get quite a small piece. As you see that fish there, paste isn't just for massive fish.
No.
Quite a smallish piece, would you say? It's sort of probably smaller than a 20p piece sort of size. I like to cut my line into the paste personally, Brandon.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like just like cut it in like that. I just feel like it's a bit easier. Like a lot of people like to fold their hook in, say, but I just find that quite easy. Then you just like drag it in, seal up the little cut that you made in the line.
I like it.
I just find that a little bit easier personally. Plop it in your paste and in your pot rather. And 6 mils have been important today because there's been a lot of roach, isn't there?
Yes.
So 6 mils in your pot. That's just a large pot. Right. Look what you've done to my pole, Brandon.
I have to get your pole now. You get over here. There you go.
Here we go. Yeah, there's been a lot of roach around, so 6s are definitely the way. And you just want to be nice and smooth with this part of the process. Like quite a long length of line between your poultice and float.
Yeah.
That olivet's swung to like the centre point, if you see what I mean. So it's almost impossible to tangle your rig.
Just zoom in. So
See that there?
folks can see.
You can see it there.
Yeah, I can see
the
it.
olivet's just below the float. And I like to, because I always measure the pot to the tip of the float about this distance here. If you see this distance here on my box. So I know that when I hold my pole, I generally sit like this.
Yeah.
So I'll push it to the edge of my box like that. And then at least we know we're in the same sort of position every time. Always important to like ladle your pellets onto the water like this.
Yeah.
See like that?
I can see it.
Just keeps your paste intake. You know, if you like dropped it in from a height, say, there's a chance you could damage your paste and it'll probably come off the hook a bit quicker.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, we're trying to sit out there like effectively and wait for a bite for a period of time. So yeah, nice little pile on the bottom like that. You can see, oh, there's a few little indications straight away. Shall we, we were talking about this, weren't we, Brandon? Shall we do a little competition for the folks at home?
Hey, I can't see why not. I'm sure Rune will let us, wouldn't he?
Well, I haven't asked him, but he will let us.
Of course he will.
How about this new set of paste floats, which should be a few in the range? We'll give away, how many do you reckon?
I reckon. How much do you reckon they need? 4 of each?
Let's do 4 of each, shall we?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can make a nice few rigs up. So we have 4 of each size. And if you wait till the end of the video, there'll be a competition.
Yeah. Look at that.
What are you giving me for that, Brandon?
The hook, look at that. How is...
You can't look a fish better than that.
How big do you reckon? That's 4 ounces.
No, not that big, is it? He's about 2 ounces.
He's got a big belly, man. Look, that hook is actually bigger than its mouth.
Oh, bless him.
How did it swallow that bit of paste?
I don't know, Brandon. Tell you what, Brandon, I've got a nice little tip for you here. Ready?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready.
You see my roller behind me?
I see it.
If you can spend a bit of time before you start either your match or your session and get it just in the right position so you don't have to break down here every time. So I just missed a bite then. I'm going to shift all the way to sort of halfway up the section. Another nice thing about that olivette, because there's a bit of weight down the line, I can sort of just swing that olivette straight to me. See that like that? So just makes you a little bit more efficient with, you know, rebaiting your rig. So I'm going to get some paste on the hook, and you'll see, just get a nice bit of paste on, like that. Put it in the pot. A few pellets. I've still not broken down, obviously. And away, and like it's really smooth. You don't want to be shipping out and like dropping pellets on the way out, or even worse, dropping your paste and you have to rebait up. Even if you did that only 2 or 3 times during a match, it's slowing you down. So if you can just be a little bit more efficient, it will help you.
Bobs.
Yes.
You know what time it is?
Go on.
Percy pig.
Oh my God. Always the highlight of the day.
Who's your favourite, are they?
Yeah, I get them every time we go, don't I?
You do.
Every single time.
You do too, fair. Crack these open.
Crack them open, Brandon, come on.
Not a bad first drop for a cross.
Well, it weren't really going to plan in the edge, was it, Brandon, to say the least? Not sure why, but for whatever reason, the fish just don't want to come in close. Loads of roach there. But I've got to test these floats, you see.
Yeah.
Can't not test them, so just literally plumbed up on the far bank quickly, and what was it in there, 10 seconds?
What, not even that. You even like lifted out your paste, dropped it back in, and it was literally almost like it followed it down, didn't it?
Yeah, so maybe we'll have a little finish on the far bank in similar depth of water. For some reason, you know what it's like with fishing. It doesn't always go to plan, and they don't want to be in the edge for whatever reason today. But if we can have a goodish finish on the far bank and give these floats a good testing.
Yeah. Give them a good pasting.
Oh, you've done it, haven't you? I was wondering who was going to say it. I'm glad it was you. God, they do scrap in here, ridiculous.
It's so hard.
Not particularly big fish, but...
What elastic is it using?
That's purple hydro as well. It's not like we're messing about. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, it is.
He's in the bag. No, beautiful fish in there.
Cracking, aren't they? They've all
So,
been
yeah.
really nice, haven't they?
We'll try that again, I think.
Why not? Oh, look at the lips on him. Gorgeous.
Lovely. Let's put him back. Come on.
I see you.
We'll wait for one to pull the elastic out like that.
Oh, it didn't, did it?
Yeah.
I got that.
Did you actually?
Yeah. Let's zoom in so see if we can see properly. Did it actually pull the elastic out, did it?
Yeah, well, I've not really judged that far bank slope quite right just yet, have I? This is
very
jet
surprising.
black, this one, isn't he? Look at him. Spent his whole life living in those weeds, I reckon. That's where the fish are, clearly, Brandon. We've been fishing about 7 metres too short most of the day.
He's dark,
he's
isn't he?
very dark, isn't he?
Got a great suntan.
Yeah, but I think I'll adjust that float. It's a good lesson, actually, because it does happen quite a lot with paste fishing, especially in the silt. Your float sort of moves. You're going to have to move your float quite a lot when they dig out the silt a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that that's happened on the far bank, but I will move my float just up a little bit now, just so you know I can register the bites, and I'm not relying on the fish to pull the elastic out every chance.
So I was zooming in, I was like, why can't I see your float?
Yeah. I held it on quite a tight line, so if I did get a bite, that would happen, and luckily enough it did. But let's just move that float up about an inch or so, then we'll know for the next one. You might even be able to film a bite next time.
It's a good thing with this sort of fishing, isn't it? You don't need to replumb because you plumb it is
exactly.
your pace
Yeah,
sort of
you
thing.
will find when you do a lot of pace fishing over a period of time, you end up moving your float a hell of a lot. Moving spots, moving your float. The silk changes a lot of the time. The more fish you get in your peg, generally, the peg gets a slight bit deeper. So yeah, you do have to be a bit adaptable, but. Just get that line coming this side of the pot. That's quite important, Brandon. You see that happening there? Yeah. If you can get your line coming this side of your paste pot when you're fishing like that, let's move that down a tiny bit. So if it's like this and you're fishing a short lash like that,
yeah. If
you can get your line coming this side of the float, it's much less likely to tangle. Okay.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Do it. Maybe I did. Again, that was absolutely it blew my mind really. We've struggled for quite a while, and then you put that in there, it just ripped your elastic out.
Been fishing in the wrong spot all day, Brandon. That's why.
It's getting a bit good now, Bobs, isn't it?
We're actually starting to catch a few fish, Brandon, which is a bit of a relief, isn't it? It's not something I've done loads of, like fishing a long pole with paste like this, like to a far bank. But I've already learned quite quickly that it's important that you don't really strike, because you'd be striking your paste off all the time and you'd be having a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So, best thing to do is sort of like I am now. It's a bit awkward with the wind, just to like ladle your paste in, let it all trim up, and if you get a bite, it's very difficult. I'm trying not to strike and just trying to keep it on like a semi-tight line, then if there's a carp there, I'm hoping it hooks itself on the tip of the pole, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I can keep it on a semi-tight line and we get one in our peg. Because I did, when we first started doing this, I was sort of in and out with the float going under. And I think I said to you, like, I'm just going to let them pull the pole, and I had 3 in a row. Where the pole just sort of buckled over after a bite. It's a bit tricky in this wind, but...
Yeah, you've got to be very disciplined, haven't you? If you do get any liners or anything like that.
Yes.
Just
there's some little ducklings coming in the peg. Look at
hello.
this.
Little chicken nugget.
When they're small, they usually try and eat your float.
You know, I'm slurping.
Slurping, the problem is that's about 10 pegs away.
Need to come this way.
Oh.
Ooh.
I sort of broke my own rule there, but it was almost too good of a bite that I had to strike, Brandon. I couldn't not.
Can't help it, can you? I'd have done the exact same thing.
It's hard. I am trying as well, I promise.
Hey, we hooked one.
Yeah, that was the aim of the game, but yeah. It's weird. It's just weird how they'll willingly come in the shallow water on the far bank, but in the edge, it's a lot of roach and not a lot of carp, isn't it?
It must be just because you're a bit further away from yourself.
Possibly, yeah.
Disturbed. I'm running around like a headless chicken.
Yeah. We'll blame it on you.
Yeah, blame it on
done.
me. That's why they're all over there.
It's only a little one, but at least we're getting some bites, eh?
Yes. Fantastic. How's the pace floats getting on?
Lovely. Actually, these ones particularly have been very nice.
What's the difference between... Are they a little bit shorter, these
So
ones?
these ones, this is a 0.3 of a gram... Let's put him back, Brandon.
Yeah.
These are a 0.3 of a gram pace float, and if you can see, they're very similar to the other floats, like a nice long visible tip, but a much shorter body. So we wanted these floats so you could use them in, say, a lot of places like 16 inches in the edge or 18 inches. So at least then you can fish a nice short pace float. And I know a lot of floats are, say, weighted in the stem. I'm not a massive fan of that. I like to have the option of, like today, there's a bit of blustery wind, so when I put my paste in my pot, I can at least put a couple of number 8s down the line. Not saying you'd always want to do that, but if you have most of the weight of the float in, say, the stem, then you've got no option of doing that at all. So I've got like 2 number 8s below the float, 2 number 8s halfway down the line. That shots it to around there. And obviously where I'm fishing, I'm trying to get my paste to shot the float to around there. So yeah, it's working okay. Just a couple of hours too late, maybe. Should have been a bit quicker on the upkeep, Brandon. So I'm going to quickly talk you through the 2 rigs I've used today. Both very similar, built to be really durable. Starting with the elastic on my out in front rig, it's black hydro, definitely one of my favourite elastics of all time. Soft-ish, like so you're not going to bump those little tiny carp that some of we've had today, but you can still land anything up to 10 pound and bigger. 022 mainline, and you can see there that's one of our new prototype pace floats. That's a 0.5. A nice little bit of silicone on the top, just prevents angles as well. And then I've got a 0.5 Olivet. And you've probably noticed today during the film that shots the float just to the base of the bristle, and the pace pulls the float down the rest of the way. Just got a nice little line stop there just to stop that Olivet going any further down. You don't really want it like right up near the float. Having the Olivet sort of 2/3 of the way down your rig like you would any bulk seems about right most of the time. And I've just got a loop-to-loop of a ready rig. That's a size 12 Kaizen. You can't beat them for this sort of fishing. That's a ready tied rig as well, so you don't have to time yourself. The bar bank rig, even more simpler. Purple hydro this time, another one of my all-time favourite elastics. 022 mainline, a much shorter, stubbier float if you like. And this is a 0.3 version of the float. So that takes about 4 number 8s to get it shotted just to the base of the tip, just like the other float. And I started off the day with sort of all the shot underneath the float like this, like 4 number 8s. But as the day's gone on, the wind's been a little bit blustery. It's been quite hard to get my rig in on that far bank in between the rushes, and even shipping out that distance was a bit problematic. So I moved 2 of the shot down like this. So when I was shipping out, it just ensured the line wasn't getting tangled around itself. It can get tangled around the float, get tangled around the pole a little bit. So that was really important. Down exactly the same hook and hook length. It was size 12 Kaizen, ready tied, brilliant hook. If it got really good the fishing, I would probably step up to a 10. But yeah, that's the 2 rigs, really simple, but built to catch loads and loads of fish.
Had a good day today, Bobs, haven't we?
You know, it's actually ended up being a really good day, Brandon. You know, sometimes the best days aren't necessarily the most rewarding in the sense that we've not caught millions, but we've had to really think about how to catch them. So yeah, it's been good, tough, but good.
Awesome. Look at this fish.
He's nice. They're all lovely chunky fish, aren't they? I'm not sure this one spawned actually. Got a little belly on him there. You see, or her rather.
I know a few anglers that have got a bit of a belly on them.
Steady. naming no names.
Naming no names.
Shall we do competition time, Brandon?
I think that's what we should do.
I think, as it's summer,
yeah,
and we've had a nice day on pace, challenging but good. Why don't we do pace fishing? Is probably one of my favourite methods in the summer.
Yeah.
Why don't you write in the comments what your favourite way of catching fish in the summer is, whether that's on a big reservoir for like some bream or a commercial like Puddledock here for carp, and we'll give away, what we're going to say, 4 of each size?
4 of each size, I reckon, yeah, just to cover their options sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah, that sounds great. And I think as well, a couple of years ago, we did a fishing gurus, didn't we, at Monk Lakes?
We did.
Which goes into way more detail on pace fishing, like more than what I've done today.
Yeah.
So if you fancy taking a look at that, there should be a link just here that you're going to put in, Brandon.
Right.
Is it going to be here?
Right there, where you're pointing.
Okay, right, it's going to be right there. And click on that and there's going to be loads more like little tips and tricks on how to get more out of your pace fishing.